Hello everyone, welcome to the Corner Library. Welcome, welcome wherever you are in the world, and particularly on this lovely day. We have had a little bit of rain. It's much cooler now. We are definitely coming into our we are in our winter, and but it is sunny today, which is lovely because we are on solar. We are entirely off-grid, so there is a fine balance between needing rain and needing sunshine. So we really are quite conservative with our power usage, but and we do like to make sure that our batteries are well kept and that they are well charged. So we try not to use too much power. For instance, hoovers and washing machines and things like that on cloudy days I do not use. So when it's a day like this, it's sunny, blue sky, I can do a little bit of hoovering and also my clothes washing, which, to be honest, we are lucky here in central Victoria because there's really not a week goes by that, even if it's cold and it has been raining, there's not a week that we don't have a few days of sunshine. It really is good for solar where we live. Anyway, a number of things. First of all, I have the three boys in here, Arthur, Rooney and Flynn. I'll show you a little bit of footage of them later. They're all just snoozing by the fire on the chairs and the footstool. They're loving it. So if you do hear some snoring, it's not me. Some snoring or some moving around, it will be them. But I'll let you know if it is them anyway. One thing I did do this week, I went to our local cinema, a local theatre really, and I saw the French movie Jane Austen Wrecked My Life. Now, I know a number of you have yet to see it, so I'm not going to say too much about it. Perhaps in a few weeks when I know that you have all watched it, or those of you who have told me that you're going to see it, once you've watched it, then we'll have a bit of a chat about it. But yeah, so I saw that, and there are a couple of other things going on. We've just been working around the property. We have been chopping some wood for our fire, which the sort of dead trees and things that we have. We do make sure that animals are not using those trees for, and when I say trees, they're just basically the trunk. Everything else is dead and fallen off. And they have been dead probably for about 15 years. They're just still standing. Some of them are not, but so we do make sure that animals are not using the trees, the stumps really, these large trunks, and when we cut them down, it's just so that we know nobody's really using them for habitat. And then we use our own wood source, because otherwise it's really expensive to buy. We have bought trailer loads of wood in the past, but it is quite expensive, so we try and use our own, and we're growing our own deliberately. We're growing our own trees so that in the future we will have continue to have our own source of firewood. Okay, everyone, I've got a few things for you today. I think they're all English, actually. Most of the things that I want to show you are English. Okay, let's get on with it so that I don't take up too much of your time today. You know I don't like this, and I do apologise. And I apologise if there's any glare too. Okay, the first one, this I read this week. It is a 2025 publication. This is Sarah Hawkeswood, Medieval Mystery Litany of Lies. If any of you know Sarah Hawkeswood, this is the Bradcote and Catchpole series. There's a whole series on it. There's probably, I don't know actually. I don't know how many I've read. There might be 5 or 6 in the series. It's medieval. We start in around about this starts in around about, I think it's 1145. It's a murder mystery, as they all are. Catchpole and Brad Coate are our investigators, and you get a little bit of a sense of what it was like in the medieval times. What I like about Sarah Hawkesworth too is her dialogue is, although it's not completely medieval, because the accents and the vocabulary at the time were vastly different to what we use now, so it would perhaps put a lot of readers off. But with Sarah, she gives you a hint of dialect in the dialogue, a hint of accent, and also a hint of the differences in speech between the classes at the time. I do enjoy Sarah Hawkesworth, but I really did enjoy this. I love the cover with the bee skep and the bees and the beautiful autumn trees. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you like a little bit of history but not too much medieval history, if you like a murder mystery, if you like something that's a little bit different in dialogue, it's not too heavy. Well, it's not heavy at all, but it just gives you a little taint of difference in between the characters. It's really good. I enjoyed it. It was comfy cozy. I couldn't put it down, and it was a little bit of a surprise too in the mystery. So I enjoyed that. Sarah Hawkesworth, this is a whole series. This is the latest in her series. Oh, by the way, it is Allison and Busby, I think, from memory. A and B, yeah, it is. It's Allison and Busby. And, well, actually, this was 2024. I beg your pardon. I thought this was 2025. But I'm sure it's only been available this year. It was first published in Great Britain in 2024. Well, that's strange. I thought it was 2025. But nevertheless, doesn't matter. I've made a mistake and that's okay. So, but this is her latest anyway. Absolutely enjoyed it. Now, for those of you who know Sylvia Townsend Warner, she was English. She wrote the Lolly Willows, the very famous Lolly Willows. We can talk about that later on in another episode. This is really, really good. But she wrote very short stories, and this is Winter in the Air. Of course, it's winter here, so I decided to read these. Now, what I like about these, apart from the fact that I like her writing and the stories are just really quaint, some of them are thought-provoking, but I genuinely don't think she's asking you to do that. She's not asking that these be intense reads. They are short, and some of them are just, when you finish reading them, it is a matter of just saying, well, that was really nice. That was pleasant, and I'm glad I read that, and move on. What I like about these, for now, for winter, and it could be at any time anyway. You know I'm not really a seasonal reader, but I chose it because it is deliberately a winter read. What I like about these is, instead of at nighttime, or if you're at the doctor's office or the dentist, or you're just making a short train trip, these are really, really short. Some of them are only a few pages, maybe 10 at the most. Some of them are not. There's a few there that I think all up, let me just check that. It'll give you an indication here of how many stories there are. There's around about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And it is not even 300 pages. It's 250 odd, I think. Hang on, let's have a look. 255 perhaps. Oh no, 253. There you go. So there's 18 stories in this. And I like it because, and I always do like these short stories, to pop in your bag, whether it's your backpack or your handbag, because when you're at the dentist or the doctor, or you're on a very short train trip, or you're just waiting for a friend at a location, you can dip into these and not get so involved that you really don't want to put it down when you've been called for your dental appointment or your doctor's appointment or what have you. So short reads are really good for that. What I like them for as well, in the evening, sometimes when I'm reading quite a good sized novel, if I'm tired and I go to bed, but I still want to read, I turn to the short stories, because you can read a short story. It satisfies that thirst for a bit of reading before you fall asleep. You get involved with the short story, but you're not interrupting that long novel. Once I'm involved in a novel, I really have to check myself, because I just keep reading. So, and that can lead to me falling asleep with the book, and bent pages, or continually reading the novel when I should be sleeping. So short stories are great for that, and Sylvia doesn't disappoint with these stories. They're all different, cozy, some of them are a little bit thought-provoking, some of them are just stories. It really depends on what you want to get out of these short stories. I am enjoying these. I'm just taking one at a time, just reading one a night, and I've nearly finished. But yeah, I recommend these. Her writing is superb. As I say, we'll discuss Lolly Willows at another time, but these are really good short stories for a winter read. I think really they're more winter. Not, as I say, not that I'm a seasonal reader, but apart from Christmas. But yeah, they're a good winter read. Well, I'm certainly enjoying them at the moment anyway, with the cold weather. Now, some time ago, last year, I bought this next novel. The Queen's Reading Room had it as one of the Queen had it as one of her novels to read in her book club. And I bought it and I read it, and I recently read it again. So I just wanted to give you the heads up on this one. This is David Nicholls' You Are Here. I quite like the cover. I don't know if you can see it, but it has gradient marks as a map would have. They're just very shiny and a little bit raised. And then, of course, you have the You Are Here marker that a lot of maps and Google Maps and things like that have. Now, I read this again. I just want to warn you, it does have swearing in it, which I think... I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to get rather tired of reading, and I'm even tired of films with swearing in it. I don't know why authors particularly feel it necessary to include like bad language. Obviously it is for the audience nowadays, but I tend to... it can put me off, actually, to be honest with you. And I know I've recommended a number of novels here and they've had swearing in them. Some of them have been exceptional despite the fact that they've had swearing. Others have just been quite just a novel and they've had swearing in them. And, I recommend them because of the because of the author, or because it is a good novel, or the story is good, or the plot is good, but overall, I'm starting to tire of the language in novels and in film. But look, this does have a few choice words. Having said that, I really enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed this. It is different. It's a love story, but it is also about loneliness and feeling lonely and being lonely. So there's a difference, of course. You can be in a crowd of people, you can have lots of so-called friends, but you can still feel lonely. You can have a partner and still feel lonely. Or you can literally be lonely. There can be no friends, no family, and so forth. There's a difference between loneliness and lonely. So it deals with that, and it deals with modern life and the pressures and expectations on humans. As I say, it is also a love story, and there are multiple sort of little stories along the way. I genuinely enjoyed this. Please be aware there are a few choice words. It did put me off a little bit, I have to say, but I was a little bit angry that such a beautiful story had that sort of language in it. But I tried to move on from that because I did genuinely enjoy the story. I thought it was, the characters were interesting, the location. Basically, I will tell you, because you know I don't like telling you the story, but I will tell you that we go on a journey, on a walking journey, and that in itself is also very interesting. It's set in England, it's set in the north of England, English writer, but look, it would have been the story would have been just as beautiful and the writing better if the swearing had been left out. But I understand there are people now, authors want to relate to their audience, and people do swear a lot now. You hear it out in the streets all the time. So I understand that. I understand that they're wanting to connect with their audience. But I would have been happier and just as entranced by the story without that. As I say, having said that though, this is beautiful and I do recommend it. But do be aware there are a few choice words. But it is beautiful. It's a lovely, and it's unusual. It's an unusual story. I really recommend it. We also get a lot of inner dialogue here from the characters, from the two main characters, which is lovely. Because it also shows you how things can be misinterpreted from the physical outward person to the actual inward person, what they're thinking. And I think that what that does too is it makes you realize that you have to be a little bit more understanding and respectful of others. If you think you're taking offense to something, it may not actually be meant that way. In fact, most times it's not. You just have to be careful. So it sort of tweaked that for me as well. But I really enjoyed the story. Okay, one I'm reading at the moment, and I have just started, is Alison Weir. This is just brilliant. I am a really big fan of, well, I say fan. I really do enjoy history. Fanatical history buff, and a fanatic when it comes to the Tudors as well. I'm really not sure why. I just find it a fascinating period in English history. And Alison Weir does a wonderful job. This is the Cardinal. Absolutely stunning. Really love the cover. Really love the cover and the gold inlay. I absolutely love this. But anyway, this is about Cardinal Wolsey, who, as some of you may or may not know, was the Cardinal eventually for Henry VIII. But it's a biography with much historical content, and it's historical fiction biography. I really do like the way Alison writes. Alison's written, it must be, look, I could be wrong, but around about 50 novels, usually related to women in history. They can be historical fiction or biographies. She wrote, I think this was last year's or the year before. Let me just see this one. I'm fairly sure this was 2024. This one's 2025. This was Mary I, Queen of Sorrows. Again, a beautiful cover with the Tudor rose. I'm not a big fan of people on the cover, but it is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Usually they're fairly hefty. I think these ones are around about 400, 500 pages, about 450, yeah. So I read this last year. I have read a few others of hers from many moons ago, but this one I picked up the other day, and as I say, I am a bit of a Tudor enthusiast, you may say, and I have a bit of a soft spot for Wolseley and for Thomas Cromwell. I think they were both in very obviously both in very precarious position in medieval times, which are very brutal and very tenuous, particularly being a cardinal or in the religion or religious position in England. You could have your head taken off at a whim, and particularly at that time in Henry VIII's, when we went from Catholic to Protestant. So I enjoy these very much, but I particularly like Alison's writing. She makes it really interesting, and it's about the individual, the human. So instead of just an historical figure and the history that we know, really, she doesn't make it about that. It's about the person, the human, because Thomas Wolseley was actually an incredibly intelligent person. He was a child prodigy and went to university very, very young, much younger than his peers. I think Alison says in here he was about 15, but which it must be correct because she does her research. I thought he was a little bit younger than that, but yeah, he was at university and well above his peers in his education. And just that ability to know diplomacy and politics, at a very young age, at a time when it was really dangerous, really dangerous. So I'm enjoying this. I've only really just started it, but I know Alison's writing. I enjoy her work. As I say, she humanises it, and you don't have to be necessarily a history buff or a medieval buff or royalty or anything like that. If you enjoy just reading a well-written novel with all of those things included, Alison Weir's, it's the same with Hilary Mantel. They have a beautiful way of presenting the characters and the real life characters. I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I just think the cover is absolutely beautiful. Now, these are, by the way, I'll just let you know, these are, I'm just trying to see here, these are Headline Review. This is 2025, by the way, and it's an imprint of Headline Publishing Group. And we have around about, this one actually is about, 450 pages. She does give you the details of, or the people in the novel, our historical figures. I think we also have a map in here. I could be wrong. No, I don't think we did. I thought we did, but actually maybe she does in the... No, I won't waste your time, everyone, but I thought she had a map in the front. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's something that I just find with her writing, I don't want to put the book down. I want to know more about the character. We start here with Thomas very, very young. I think this begins in 1480, or 1482, perhaps. Hang on, let me just say, I'm going to have to put my spectacles back on, but yes, I think it's 1482 when he's very, very young. He's just a child, and of course we then go through to the final days of Thomas Wolseley. But yeah, absolutely brilliant writing. I can't recommend them enough. I think she makes them these historical figures very human, which they were, but of course with the centuries between us, even with our own ancestors, we can often just see them as writing on a page, and so we can't really connect or understand them fully. Alison she changes that and makes them very much gives a human element to them, which they were. They were in a time, like all of us at different stages throughout history. We are all fighting to survive and do what is necessary at the time, and still keep our integrity. A lot of us, not everyone, but generally as humans we try to keep whether it be our faith or our integrity, and Alison presents that really, really well. So if you haven't read any of Alison Weir's novels, I suggest you do. If you're interested at all in Thomas Wolseley, even if you're not, this is a story about a human in very precarious, tenuous, dangerous times, and really interesting. I love her writing. Now, something that happened, I was given a surprise this week. I'm so excited. And I haven't opened it and started, I don't want to say too much because I'll present it to you first, but I wanted to show you before I did anything with this particular package. So Mark is a Lego enthusiast, and he came across, oh everyone, it's so exciting. He came across this for me and presented it to me the other day. This is Lego. This is Jane Austen with her quill and her bookshelves and her books, her pianoforte, and some pictures from her life. So I haven't opened it, but there's the inkwell as well as her quill, and of course Jane Austen. I haven't opened it yet because I wanted to show you first, and then I'm going to open it maybe today and put the Lego set together. I have never actually put a Lego set together, so I'm going to do it, and then I'll show you the finished product next week, hopefully. But yeah, I'm very, very excited. I was so chuffed that Mark thought to do that for me. They are limited, I think. Are they limited? I think they are. I think they're a limited, not necessarily a limited edition. Oh, it is. She says, as it's just been flashed down the bottom here, it's limited edition. So I'm very, very privileged to have been given that. I'm very excited. So I'll make that and show you all next week. Okay, everyone, I really recommend Alison Weir, and I'm definitely thoroughly enjoying this one. The Cardinal, of course, she has written many, many others. I just wanted to show you that one as well because that was last year's, but she has written quite a few, and I do recommend her writing. She is a brilliant author. David Nicholls, I absolutely love the story. I love the presentation, the storyline, the characters, the environment that we're walking in. It's just beautiful, but I was a little disappointed with the language. I just thought it was totally unnecessary. But again, I do understand that some of these authors, they have to be able to relate to the reader. But he didn't need that for me. I would have related very well without that language. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a paragon in any way, shape or form, but when I'm reading and when I'm watching a film, I want to be taken away from that, even if it is a fairly realistic movie or novel. I just want to be taken away from what I hear out on the streets. I just want to, because I find also, I don't know about you, but I find that sort of language really aggressive, and so it's usually used in an angry format, and I find that quite I just find that doesn't do me much good, to be honest. So, yes, Sylvia Townsend Warner. I do recommend these, Winter in the Air. They're short stories, fabulous. She did write Lolly Willows, which is a brilliant, brilliant novel, but we'll get back to that one. And then Sarah Hawkeswood, Litany of Lies. It is a comfy, cozy series, Breadcoat and Catchpole. I love the characters. I really do enjoy the mischief that they get into, and it's quite it's witty as well, by the way. And so too was David Nichols. I laughed quite a few times in this. I thought the dialogue in here is also very quick. It's fast paced, and I like that. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, Litany of Lies, it also has that lovely English humour. So I enjoyed that. That's it, everyone. I think this week I'm just whittling away at a few little projects, and yeah, I think that's all I'm doing this week. So I will see you, if I don't see you on Saturday on Australian Book Travels, I will then see you on Monday for our next book recommendation. Do take care. I think I've told you everything. I'm always, whenever I finish these and I put them in the editing package and then I upload them, I think, oh gosh, I should have said this and that. But anyway, if it's important, I'll let you know. But I'm sure I've let you know everything. Ellie's doing well. The chicken's doing well. Her head is much better, and she's strutting her stuff. I do think she's a little bit blind. Perhaps that's why she was picked on. So we are keeping her separate, and we just bring her in a crate in the evening into the house so that she's warm and comfortable, and she is really happy doing her thing. So she just has a little corner of the back garden that she struts around in. So that's good. Ali's doing well. Everybody's well. We're just pottering around the house. So I will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all of you who have subscribed and liked. And also, don't forget, we do love your comments. No matter what you want to say, just type away in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I have been a little poorly in getting back to people just these last couple of weeks because I have been so busy, but I promise you, usually I get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. If I don't, you'll know that I've just been extremely busy. But we do enjoy your comments, and we do enjoy that interaction with you. So please do leave a comment. Okay, everyone, I think that's it. Thank you for joining me today. Enjoy your week, wherever you are in the world, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, and I will see you either Saturday or next Monday. Take care, everyone. Happy reading. Bye for now.